In our last video, we talked about the staff. We drew our 5 lines and our 4 spaces. We drew our alto clef and talked about how this middle line here is really important for the alto clef, making sure we all line that up. So now we are going to put the notes on the D string onto our staff so we can get to know where they live. When we're counting about lines and spaces of the staff, we count from the bottom up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for lines, 1, 2, 3, 4 for spaces. If we're on line 3 or higher, our notes are going to look a certain way. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And if they're below line 3, they'll look a little bit different. We have already read our open D string in the book quite a bit. So we should know by now, or at least be familiar with the fact that our open D string lives on space 3. It's really important when we draw our notes that it's very clear if it's a space note or a line note. When I draw the circle, the note head, it needs to be only in space 3. So I make sure that circle touches the line above and the line below. I could leave my note like this and it would be open D, or I can draw a stem. In this case, the stem is going to be on the left-hand side going down because it's above the 3rd line. If we have a note below the 3rd line, our stem is going to be going up on the right-hand side. Just helps us to know if we're playing a low note or a high note. I can leave it like this and it's still open D, or I can fill it in. As long as the note head is on the 3rd space, we're playing the note D. When we're practicing writing our notes, we can put a label below our string name, our note name, and then above, these aren't going to be like in our music that we do. Above, we might see these in the music that we do. We're going to put a finger number. That tells me how many fingers are pressing the string down to play the note. So for our open D string, we're not pressing the string down at all. We have a 0 above. I'm going to give you a moment to copy down that open D. Next, we're going to work our way up. So we're going to add 1 finger on the D string. If I'm adding 1 finger, I'm going 1 note higher. To get 1 note higher, I go forward in my musical alphabet 1 letter. So after D in the musical alphabet is E. If I'm adding 1 finger, moving 1 note higher, I'm going to go from a space note to the very next line up. When I draw a line note, I want to make sure that half the circle is above the line and half the circle is below the line, making it very clear that it is my first finger E on the D string on that 4th line. At this point, you should have both of these notes on the staff. If you need to pause, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next note. The next note, we're going to give a little bit of extra space because there's actually 2 different versions of this note that we can do. So after D and E, 0, 1, I'm going up to 2. I get the letter F because F is next in our alphabet. All right, we went from space to next line. Now we're going to go from line to next space. I do the same thing. I make sure that circle is right in that top space. Now, if we just leave our F alone like this, our second finger would have to touch our first finger. It's what we call F natural. When 1 and 2 touch, we call it low 2 or L2. We've been doing a lot of second finger on the tape. When we do that, it is called high 2 because it makes our note a little bit higher. To make a note a little bit higher, we take our natural note and we make it sharp. Sharp sign looks like a hashtag. Music has had it for longer, so it's a sharp. When we have it in the staff, it comes before the note. When we talk about it, we say F sharp, not sharp F. So make sure you have all of that craziness down for your F. Then we have 2 more notes on the D string we're going to write. I can go to 3rd finger, and I can go to 4th finger. So now we've got D, E, F, and F sharp. After F in our musical alphabet is G. And then this is where it gets weird. We don't go to H. What do? We restart at A. So I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and find where G and A live on the staff. Keep in mind your pattern: space to line, line to space, space to. Good luck, Violas.